Hey, what's going on, group? Just wanted to make a little video for you. Have been talking to Jeff from the group just to see the best way to address some things that are going on right now. A few of you have probably seen that I have deactivated our Facebook page for Wesco. We were having some comments posted on there that were pretty bad, pretty uncalled for. They're based off of some things that really aren't true, which things nowadays, they get online and somebody grabs it, especially if you have a lot of followers. And unfortunately, there's not much looked into past that point. So a recent video was talking about our boots having cardboard in them, talking about our processes of why we don't use certain materials or certain thicknesses and so on. Definitely not the case. In the video, there's a picture of a guy that I've never even seen before that supposedly is the grandson of our founder. Roberta is our CEO. She has been since the late 90s. And I'm not even sure who the guy is in the video. Never seen it before. But as far as our boots, one thing I'd like to address is the nail that was in the boot. That's something that is completely uncalled for. I don't want that going out our door, obviously. We're lucky that someone who had put on the boot, who wore it long enough to shoot videos and lace them up and film it and everything else, didn't have it hit their foot. So that's something that if I was ever told that, or someone had received a boot, I've worked at Wesco well over 20 years, that would have been handled same day with a return label. Unfortunately, everything we do there, we're hand nailing, hand sanding, we're inspecting them, and unfortunately, sometimes things get missed. Very small number of times in over 20 years working there have I ever seen anything like that. I'd like to say never, but that's not the case. So the boots and the heels and so on, and how we construct. Are stuck at my house right. Well, I'm not stuck at my house. I'm just at home Friday evening and wanted to address this with boots that I have here and kind of explain our process. One thing, the boots that are reviewed in the video, where the question was asked, are they worth the $700 and whatever dollar price point? Those boots are not constructed like our standard Jobmaster and our standard work boot. Our standard work boot has thicker Stytherm in the counter pocket. It has thicker Stytherm in the toe. It has a full leather heel stack. There's just a handful of things. The slip material that goes in the forefoot, in the front, in between, when you're looking at some of those, I noticed there were some pictures of welt constructed boots in the video, talking about what those are how they're put together and what they're holding and so on. We don't use a welt, so that's not really the same as what we're doing. Stitch down was brought up. There's always been this great debate, which I've had a lot of discussions on, where some of the companies up north of us were doing hand welts and whatnot. We've done stitch down for a number of years. It's pretty obvious in a handful of interviews I've done, or at stitchdown.com, where we were talking about changing over in the 80s to a full stitch down construction with our Rapid Ease. And that's just something that we've stuck with. 2018, we brought back some of the nail construction. That's how we made our boots initially. People refer to the welt, but really we just do a rolled vamp, and so on. I'll probably miss a few points. Hopefully this video, we can just kind of discuss things. Everyone can throw questions in the comments, and I'll address those throughout the weekend and throughout the next week as much as possible. But just to show a couple things. This boot here is made with natural Chrome Excel, and it's made with natural Essex. And when we're talking about our actual work boot, the one that Josh does for Black Bear brand, it is a horse strip, thinner leather. We ordered around a 5 ounce, sometimes 5.5, it can vary. Generally we're trying to hit that at 5.5 for those. We use a thinner material in the heel pocket and in the toe. And the reason for that is sometimes when we're using a thicker material, it'll actually stick out where you can see pieces of it. It's hard to see in here, but you can kind of see a little bit of a bend. This is also a natural Essex. It's one of the first Job Masters as a prototype I was messing around with years ago, that we did some different hardware from one of our accounts down in LA and put a different piece of material in here. We've sampled a ton over the years. The one that we generally put in our work boot is probably about 3 to 4 times as thick as what you would see in the horsehide, what you would see in our Chrome Excels, what you would see in our domain leathers. Those are ordered thinner. They have more wax in them. They show a lot more. So something of this nature here where, I mean, you can't budge this heel pocket at all. My Job Master here, for example, same thing. Same with the toe. I mean, it's the thick material that goes in all of our work boots. As far as our heel stacks, sometimes what you'll see in them is you'll see a different variation of color in here where it gets darker. A lot of times you're going to see that, especially on the Mr. Lou. There's no real advantage to it. We would never put cardboard or paper in our heels. It's basically a compressed leather that the supplier that we've been buying from well before my time, that they put in the middle of those stacked soles. So I think one thing out there that maybe didn't show it as much over the years would be when I started at Wesco, we were doing about 80% work boots, 20% custom, and we dye all of the heels and we dye all of the midsoles. So when that happens, like if we're looking, for example, at, you know, our black boot or one of our brown dyed boots, it masks that centerpiece. And as the Mr. Lou's have come out, or you know, our liquid wax that we use on them, it's easier to see that color variation in that style boot. Now, if you get a boot from us that's one heel lift, those we click out and we make in-house. So it's just one layer. So you're not going to have that variation there. But that's just the difference. You know, you're going to see it in a bunch of our boots depending on how they're dyed, how they're colored. I promise you we're never going to use any type of cardboard or paper in our boot. The thickness of the material, some of the videos were shown saying that the machines that we use, what did it say here? We can't be as accurate and we can't be as thick with our leather due to our lasting machine and our heel nailer. Definitely not the case. We use some Wicket and Craig 8 to 9 ounce leather, a veg tan leather. It's very dry. It's very stiff. We don't have it heavily staked. We have used that for a number of years. If someone has an allergy to, say, one of the chrome tan leathers, and we also offer where we don't use any adhesive in them as well. So if anyone has an issue, we can definitely take those. We'll hand nail everything. And we don't use any glue. We staple the soles together and then we double stitch through them. There's a handful of our things that we do in that process. It's a little bit different than everyday production. But with that being said, our Bison's 8 ounce, I mean, we definitely do a handful of leathers that go through the toe laster. Has no impact, the thickness of the leather, on what we're doing there. Same with the heels. The reason that we use the Stytherm is because we can heat it up, we can cool it after we shape it. So our heel molder, when we're shaping it, it's a generic shape for all of our shoes that we're making as they go through the process, because when we heat it and we cool it, we stuff a shoe last inside of that shell of the boot. So in regards to thickness, if you're looking at the one that say we do for the Horsehide Job Master in the video that everyone's messaging me about, if you look at one of our oil tan leathers, which has been reading in about 7.5 ounce, with that thicker material, we do the same process. So it definitely makes it through there no problem. And in the forefoot of the boot, one thing that might not be shown is if I was at work right now, which I can follow up with a couple videos, inside of our boot where we have our midsole and then internally we have our leather insole, we nail 5 nails in the foot there, clenching nails. So it's not only just glued, but it's also nailed off internally in here where we're going to go 2, 2, 1 to connect all those pieces together. And I mean, this is just a start to the discussion. I know there were, I guess, 3 videos out. That's what I had been getting emailed on, and some people have been messaging. Like I said, we shut down Facebook just because of a lot of the really bad comments on there saying that we don't respond, to emails, we don't care about our customers, and that we need to make things right on boots and so on. But that's just not the case. It's not true. I'm not going to sit here and make this big video bashing anyone. I definitely try to get back to everyone as soon as I can, or in our office, Bruce or Kim or whoever's answering emails will try to get back to you in a really timely fashion. So, I'm not going to give out any like actual direct emails, but just to address the people that are coming on my social media through my Instagram and DMing me and writing emails to my customer service or my info at Wesco Boots, questioning our customer service. It's really misinformation from some of these videos that are online. So, for example, the boot in the video that we're discussing in this thread here, I'm not going to do, I'm not going to give a personal email out here, but just so everybody can see, when we're saying that we never respond, we can look here. Here's an email sent June 16th, 11 a.m., 11:11. Here's my response. And my response was sent, let's see, let's scroll down. June 16th. And it says on here, a lot of people are bashing our company, but pretty much it just says that, hey, I need you to send an email to the dealer that you ordered from just to confirm that the size change is okay, and we can make the change once they green light it. And I've never received an email back or any confirmation from anyone. I've checked with the vendor who didn't have an email, so I don't know where the disconnect is, but on the first video, one thing that I was going to try to do was take the boots back and build them to the size recommended. It's very apparent in that video that those boots are too wide. The lacing gap's too close in them. And the initial recommendation from the tracing of the feet was a B width. I don't know if that was lost somewhere, because we have our vendors, and then we'll do a size guide, and people can send that in, and we'll do a stock recommendation for sizing. So initially it was 9.5B and 10B. I'm not really sure what happened with that. Originally, I would have liked the boots to just come back and be built to the size that was recommended, but I don't know. There you have that. That's just part of it. But again, hopefully this just starts a discussion, kind of clears up some of the parts that we put in our boots. Unfortunately, a lot of people think that we aren't getting back to our customers, and there's some pretty bad comments that have been left and whatnot. And up to this point, I've just left it as is, because I really don't want this huge online back and forth. So hopefully anyone watching this video will realize that we always have cared about our customers. We're always trying to help remedy things, and if anyone has an issue, I'd prefer that they reach out to us and I can help them, or make an informative video like this to kind of squash some of the things that aren't true, and help have a better understanding of our business and how we put our boots together. So Anybody has questions, go ahead and throw them in the comments. I will send this video over and Jeff can toss it on the group for now, and we can kind of start from here. All right. I'm sure I missed plenty. Well, it's 9 o'clock on Friday and I'm gonna go hang out with my kids. So let me know what y'all think or what you'd like to know, and I'll address it then. Have a good evening.